The 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics are facing a turbulent start. A day before the Winter Olympics, around 500 Tibetans marched outside the International Olympic Committee headquarters on Thursday, demanding freedom for their region. Dragging the Chinese flag behind them, the demonstrators protested against Beijing hosting the Games, holding signs that read "Save Tibet" and "No more bloody games." Now, the protesters urged people to not watch the Games.
That's why we are against today to urge the international community not to participate, even if you participate, and to urge the athletics to not to accept the what we call a blood, sweat, medal.
Human rights activists have also echoed similar concerns and have been against China holding the Games due to their human rights abuses against the Tibetan people and other minority groups. The protests come at a time when multiple countries, including the United States, have declared a diplomatic boycott of the Games due to China's human rights record. Meanwhile, a total of 55 new COVID infections were found among Olympic Games-related personnel on the 2nd of February, which is this highest daily tally yet. However, the medical expert panel is of the opinion that the number of cases are small and manageable, by further asserting that the cases would start to drop once all participants arrived. Now, participants in Beijing are confined to a closed loop in order to prevent contact with the general public, moving between accommodation and Olympic venues on official transport. In India, too, Tibetans are protesting outside the Chinese embassy against the Winter Olympics. This a day after India also announced a diplomatic boycott of the Games. WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhan Sybil, gets us this ground report.
Tibetan protesters behind me protesting against the Beijing Winter Olympics. They have been chanting against China and, of course, talking about how safety of Tibet is required for security of India. They also burned the Chinese flag as a mark of protest and are carrying a lot of banners calling it a genocide game as well. The Winter Olympics perhaps is the most controversial Olympics the world has seen since early 1980s. And we know that a lot of countries have diplomatically announced that they're going to boycott it. India joined the bandwagon yesterday after Chinese provocation. The Chinese had put a PLA commander who was involved in the Galwan aggression as a torchbearer, and this had provoked India. India had earlier said that it's not going to boycott it by being part of the BRICS and the RIC joint statement on it. But the change happened because the Chinese were seen politicizing the games, and that is why the Indian decision came. But nonetheless, today here in Delhi, the area where I'm standing near the diplomatic enclave, is reverberating with the chants by these Tibetans against China, saying that there should be a boycott of these games. With video journalist Siraj Patel, Siddhan Sybil for WION in New Delhi.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.